this world is filled with contrasts. And I've had the good fortune to travel a lot in my profession, to meet a lot of people. And it's interesting when you have perceptions of people that are in the public eye, how they would treat you. And it's just interesting that some of the people that I thought would treat me kindly, and no one's ever really been mean to me, but some of the reactions that I've gotten, it's just interesting to see the contrast. And one of the largest contrasts that I can think of in two experiences that I had was the contrast between two really famous people and how they reacted to me or treated me. So the first story that I want to share is my boyfriend or fiance, I can't remember if we were engaged yet, but he took me to New York for my birthday, and we were in New York City to see some Broadway plays and, celebrate my birthday. And one of the days that we were there, we went shopping in Soho. And at that time, and I don't know what it's like, I haven't been to New York for quite a few years now, but to walk around, I don't know what it's like now, but Soho was like the coolest place to go and shop and look in the shops. And so we were there going from shop to shop, just, browsing and maybe getting a few Christmas gifts or whatever. And we went into this one shop, and all I can remember how to describe it was an ecological shop. Like, it had a lot of artifacts in it and interesting things, like up on the shelf, they had skulls, and in the countertop under the glass, they had different things set in amber, like scorpions, keychains that would be like really cool to bring home for my kids. And so I was looking at the different things under the glass and the counter. And, I was aware that someone was standing next to me, and I didn't know. And my boyfriend at the time, my fiance, was over at the door, at the front of the store looking at something. And so I knew it wasn't him, but it doesn't really matter. I just thought it was another customer looking to purchase something. And I was looking, and this person next to me just kind of hit me on the arm and said, that reminds me of my last movie. And I looked up, and he was pointing to a skull up on a shelf. And I turned, and it was Pierce Brosnan. And I was like, and like, how do you try to act like not like at that time he was huge, he was James Bond, and I all I could think of is James Bond, but he was the sweetest, kindest person, and he was joking with me. He was just joking with me, and he had other people with him, like an entourage that were, gentlemen that were looking out for him, and they left the store. I don't think he purchased it. Oh, he did purchase something. I'm sorry, because then when I went because I went over to talk to my fiance, and to be like, James Bond, Pierce Brosnan. And he purchased something. And then I went up to purchase what I was going to purchase for my kids. And the girl checking out said, a lot of celebrities come into the store. And she said, usually when you meet them, they're not as good looking as they are on TV. And she goes, but in that case, he's way better looking than he appears on the screen. And I was like, yeah. And the funny thing is, we were just doing the shops on that side of the street. And of course, he was doing the shop. So we were like, having this little shopping relationship as we went along. But he was a gentleman, he was personable, and it was one of the best celebrity encounters that I had. The contrast is, and some of the younger people will not know this person, but when I was a kid growing up, my dad and I really enjoyed watching the Flip Wilson show. And he was, he had this character called Geraldine, and I mean, he was in drag and he was hilarious. And I loved him. And my dad and I watched that show faithfully. So I was at a conference, flash forward, I'm, married now off on my own. And I'm at a conference and I see Flip Wilson. And I'm like, oh my God, I am one of your biggest fans. I went up to him, I'm one of your biggest fans. And he is just like aggravated that I did that. And I felt so uncomfortable, and just kind of slinked off into the crowd. And yeah, so, here's a huge star like Pierce Brosnan treating me with total respect and camaraderie. And then a big star at the time, who had been a big star when I was growing up, treated me coldly and almost borderline rude. And it just goes to show that, you never know what celebrity is going to do to someone. Or maybe Flip Wilson was always crappy. I don't know. But it was a wonderful experience to actually interact with Pierce Brosnan. He was kind. He was personable. And I think for celebrities, us little people here are the people who watch you and make you famous. And I just can't ever imagine treating someone who was a fan rudely. Just couldn't imagine it. But yeah, that's my Pierce Brosnan story.